Hi there, this is not going to be a magic video, it's going to be a Jyhad video. Probably a little less popular, but I really like the old vampire game cards. So I bought this. This is a box of starter decks. It's got 10 starter decks. I'm not going to open all 10 on this video, but this is from the Jyhad game, which, as I've explained before, was Richard Garfield's second collectible card game, and he actually, if you read the history of Jyhad, Richard Garfield, the inventor of magic, had some, he wasn't happy with certain of the game mechanics, particularly the need to spend the mana mechanic, so he invented this other game, Jyhad, which doesn't really use mana, it uses other ways to play cards. Obviously this game wasn't nearly as successful as Magic. It's not around anymore. The name was changed to Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, because Jyhad didn't end up being a very good name for obvious reasons. And I think the other kind of weak point with Jyhad is that it doesn't really work as a one-on-one game. You need, at least 3, preferably 4 or 5 players to really make it work and exploit the full dimensions of the game. So, but nonetheless, it did last for quite a long time. It was launched in 1994, perhaps 1995, I think, and I think just ended in the early 2000s, maybe mid to late 2000s. And there is still a very active community of vampire players out there on the internet. Not so much that you can't get old cards for very low prices, as I did with these. You can see this is kind of beat up. It's torn up there. The plastic is really junky. I mean, obviously this has been sitting in somebody's garage or warehouse or something for 20 years, so it's not too surprising. But the plastic on the actual cards are junked up too. So anyway, take a quick look at the box, like I always do. I was going to say it's weird that the skull and the 2 cards are, the 2 card arts are not aligned, but it's because you're supposed to open the box, and they align if you open up the box. So this is the Vampire Jyhad symbol, and card art. These were $9 each back in the 90s, and I think you can get them online today for probably $6. You can find them. The challenge isn't paying for them these days, it's finding them. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get this moldering shrink wrap. It's valiantly performed its job for 20 years. I'll be unceremoniously tossed into the trash. Alright, so if I do this properly... 1994, that's when these came out. So 20 years, just about 20 years. Yeah, this box is really cruded up. That's okay. Okay, so now, if we can get the full effect here. This camera, got it zoomed out as far as it can go. So I'm looking at it from behind. You can deal with the stuff being torn up. This is the Jyhad display box. Very exciting. Okay, so I'm just going to open up one of these decks and see what's in there. There was a community of vampire players here where I live, and the guy who was in charge of it ended up moving away, and the club fell apart. At least as far as I know, they may have changed the mailing list and not included me, but who knows? But in any case, if you go online, you could find there's still tournaments, there's still card-playing communities. It's really popular in Europe for some reason. I don't know why that is. There's actually a YouTube channel called Cause Ampersand Effect. This is a bunch of Swedish guys talking about VTES. this is a much more complicated game than Magic, and like I said, didn't really have nearly the appeal, broad-based appeal. Well, now with all these stupid kids liking vampires and Twilight and everything, who knows, this could come back into vogue. Although I think the audience for Twilight and Vampire Academy and the Vampire Diaries probably doesn't really overlap very much with the collectible card game community. I may be making assumptions, but I would not be surprised if that were the case. Okay, so just gonna quickly flip through these cards. This is the old school instruction manual. These rules are basically the same as they used to be. You can see, much like the original revised and previous Magic rule books, this is all just black and white paper. It wasn't until the 4th edition of Magic that they moved to the color glossy instruction booklet. I'm just gonna, yeah, so it has that mid-90s Wizards of the Coast factory smell. I know I can't share that with you, but I really like it. It takes me back to high school. It's awesome. All right, Sport Bike. Change of target, Elder Kindred Network. So Elder Kindred Network is actually the name of the website for people who are still into this game. Well-aimed car. I love this card. It's just really funny in concept. Amaranth. The thing that I like, if you've looked at my previous Jyhad videos, is I really like the artwork in this set. I think unlike Magic, this lends itself to kind of more, well, to phrase this properly. Obviously, Magic is uniformly based on combat, so the artwork is going to be of a particular type, but I think because Vampire is more about storytelling to a certain degree, combat is only one part of the game. It lends itself to more kind of dramatic and, sexy photos like this. Obviously, that woman's got serious cleavage. They knew what their target audience was. Loyal Street Gang, Asylum Hunting Ground, Raven Spy, Infernal Pursuit, nice classic Ron Spencer art with lots of muscles and sinews. Academic Hunting Ground. Hunting Grounds are good. Nene Thomas, I mentioned before, she always has these really sexy women in her drawings, even when the card is just, a gun, basically, or it's an enhancement to a gun. Pulling Strings, Blood Bond. Actually, that's a pretty good, distinctive Harold McNeil drawing. It's not as usual, just, maze of lines and shadows that he usually does. Toreador Justicar, some good cards here. Freak Drive, Coco, Lucretia. She is on the box, if you noticed that. Lucretia. Okay. I get screwed over on vampires here again. Alright, so we got 2 Nosferatu. Spot Threat, good old Quentin Hoover. Okay, here's some more vampires. Adrienne, Violet Prentice, Sarah Cobbler. She is also on the box. Sarah Cobbler. Dr. Jest, Dollface, Chester Dubois, Masquerade and Forza. Okay, so those are all of our vampires, and I think I have no idea what all the rarities and uncommons are. I don't know if there are rare vampires and uncommon vampires. I don't know if you get the same basic set of vampires in each starter deck. I'm not familiar with that game as well. But if you look at the 2 that were first, this is a very unremarkable character. It's 2 blood and standard potence. This is a very good card. It's a Primogen 10, lots of powers, lots of disciplines, I should say. She's got a good enhancement. She is an interesting, pretty good, another Primogen, high capacity, good set of powers, and then she is just a Pud and another Pud. Okay, so 3 Primogens, pretty good. And again, I can't tell you if these are rare, if these are like super valuable or would have been super valuable back when this game was popular. But I'm just giving you my impressions. Okay, Masquerade Enforcement, more vampires. Okay, Dimple, Esther Thomas, another Primogen with a very powerful vote enhancement. Sabine Lafitte, Kindred segregation. Timothy Crowley, a prince. 2 princes. 2 different clan princes. That's good. If you don't know what any of those means, maybe I'll explain it at the end of the video. Deal with the devil, lost in crowds, nimble feet, form of the ghost, wolf claws. I think these are all just commons now. Hog, growing fury, shattering blow, flash, cryptic mission, blur, celerity, blood rage, bum's rush, indomitability, 44 magnum. Excuse me, I still have a cold. So this, I've talked about this illustration before. This is a great Nene Thomas. It's this really beautiful woman with the skull and the cross necklace and like the lace gloves and everything, and she's just incidentally happens to be holding a 44 Magnum, which is what the card is. And I just think that's a really cool. That's just a really cool approach to the artwork. Is you just it'd be easy to just draw a picture of a gun, but instead she puts a whole. It's a picture of a woman who happens to be holding the gun. Makes it more interesting. Thaumaturgy also on the box. I don't know why I'm so tickled by that, but I am. Skin of rock. There's probably going to be skin of steel in here too. Aid from bats. Conservative vegetation. Throne gate. Animalism. Hidden lurker. I should hold these so you can see them. Cloak the gathering. Open grate, theft of vitae, arson, keen resources contested, deer rifle. The thing I always thought was funny about this card is that the guy's wearing headgear like he's at a shooting range, whereas obviously the role of this gun in the game is to be used in combat. You're not going to be like using the gun going to a shooting range and winning a target practice contest with somebody to defeat them. You're actually going to be shooting them, and chances are if you're shooting somebody out on the street with a deer rifle, you're not going to be wearing headgear. But Byron Wackwitz decided to draw it that way, and there's nothing I can do about it. Movement of the Mind, Elder Library, Skin of Steel. I told you, Douglas Schuler. You can recognize that just from the artwork if you pay attention. Boxed In, Restoration, Fortitude, Social Charm, and Dead End Alley, The Barons, Saturday Night Special. Yeah, you see, comparing this to Nene Thomas's approach, I mean, it's a gun. You just draw a picture of a gun, and there's what the card is. Regetting the Upper Hand, Haven Uncovered, Cat's Guidance, Telepathic Misdirection, Army of Rats, and Protean. All right, so just in case you care, if you've watched this far, you probably do. There are library cards and crypt cards, and you play both kinds in different ways in the game. And the crypt cards are vampires, and they're basically like creatures and magic. This is called the capacity. That's basically their life, and there are ways to give them back life if they lose life. These little logos here are all the different disciplines they have. The way that works is the vampire cards actually play other cards. So if you look, so this well-aimed car. If you wanted to have a vampire play this card, you would need to have potence, because that's what that is. And this guy does not have potence, but this guy does, right? Because he is Bruja, and Brujas are fighters. Yeah, so this guy has potence, so we can play this card. And if it's a square, it means it's regular potence, and if it's a diamond, it means that it is superior. And if you look at the card, the normal text is the standard, the effect if they have the regular power, and the bold text is the effect if they have the superior power. So anyway, that's basically how the vampires work. And then if somebody is a prince or a primogen, as a lot of these are, that comes into play if you're voting. There are plenty, like I said, it's not all about combat in Vampire. You can also do votes, and each player votes, and also each primogen or prince votes. I believe that's how it works. And then this Astrid Thomas here has an extra enhancement, whereas if she votes, every Tremere in the game, not just yours, And Tremere is her clan, as indicated by the symbol up there. Every card, every vampire that can vote that has this card design has to vote the way she votes, so that's pretty powerful. So anyway, that's why I got excited when I saw that Primages and Princes here, because those are the good cards for the kind of game that I would like to play. I would like to play a very political game where I'm ever able to play this game. Okay, anyway, this video is getting long. I won't open the other 9 decks on camera, at least not on this video. I might open some more on camera later, but there you go. Thank you for watching. Long live the 90s.